Today, as we continue the Proverbs 31 series, I am going to be talking about the beauty in a husband being able to put his trust in his wife as a Proverbs 31 woman. I'm Rebekah with Learning Together by Grace, Homemaking God's Way. Let's go. In Proverbs chapter 31, verses 11 through 12, I'm reading the NIV version, which is the New International Version. It says, "Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life." And then in the King James Version, it says, "The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life." And then lastly, for me, I really like the Message version, probably the best, because I feel like it really just hones in on what I can see and my full understanding of this. Right here it says, "Her husband trusts her without reserve and never has reason to regret it. Never spiteful, she treats him generously all her life long." You guys, the thing that I look at the most is that he trusts her without reserve. When you think about the word reserve, at least for me, whenever I think about the word reserve, I think about that I have nothing to really hold me back from doing or believing or feeling what it is that I feel, because I have full faith and confidence in whatever that situation or circumstance is. The definition of reserve says refrain from using or disposing of something, retain for future use. So our husbands don't have to refrain from trusting in us as their wives. Now, with that being said, you have to ask yourself, as a Proverbs 31 woman, period, be it you are a wife or just a woman in general, are you worthy of being trusted without reserve? Are you showing yourself faithful to being a woman that is about love and care, not spiteful, not harm, but a woman that is generous, a woman that is truly intentional about loving on her spouse, her children, or just people well if you're not married? And so one thing that I have learned over the years as a woman, number one, and then to add to it as a wife, is that people, they want to be treated well. They don't want to be treated as if they are someone that could just be thrown to the wind, careless with, or someone that doesn't deserve love. They want to be remembered. They want to feel special. They want to know that you see them. And then whenever you are in their presence, they want to know that you are being genuine about your time with them and intentional about your time with them. So as I continue cooking today, I just want to give my heart and my experience on being a woman that is trustworthy. Now, I have said before in some of my previous videos, y'all, I was an independent woman, and when my husband and I got married, I brought a lot of that independence attitude into my marriage. Now, there's nothing wrong with being independent, but when you really think about the two becoming one, you have to let go of some of these old ways and ideologies that you have about being a person. And you have to know that you and your husband are coming together to work as a unit. You're not working separately, but you are working as a unit. And if you are so bent on being a woman that is trying to do things on her own, trying to make her own decisions, not wanting to take into consideration anything that her husband has to say because for some reason you think that it's weak, then it's going to be very challenging for you to be that Proverbs 31 woman and be a woman that is trustworthy. Another thing that I've learned over the years, in almost 20 years of being with my husband, we'll be married 19 years on September the 30th of this year. One thing that I have learned is that my husband wants to know that I trust him, that I trust his leadership, that I trust that he can make decisions for our family. Also, my husband needs affirmation, knowing that what he is doing is good. And to be honest with you, if we flip it, me as a woman, I also want to know that what I am doing is good and is right and is beautiful and is lovely. And so I want to admonish you women out there today. As you're going about your day-to-day task, look at your spouse. Look at the efforts that they're making. Y'all, I know that sometimes it can be very hard to allow someone to do something without you putting your input in. One thing that I can say that my husband is really good about is allowing me to make decisions. He really just trusts me to make good decisions. And even if I do make decisions that may not pan out to be the best, he is gracious enough to say, you know what? It's okay. The next time around, we'll get it right. And a lot of times we as women, I've come to find, and this is just my perception of myself and my perception of other women that I have met over the course of these 43 years of my life. We have a tendency to not be as gracious as men are. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. This is just what I have seen over the years. And so, with that being said, can we give them the same grace that they give us whenever we make decisions? Can we even let them make mistakes and not be so hard on them? Because if we're constantly harping on them, constantly saying, oh, you didn't do this right, oh, you didn't do that right, then it's not leaving them room to build up their confidence in who they are. And so that goes back to being a woman that is never spiteful and treats her husband generously all her life long. And so now I want to talk about how can we do that? What are some ways that we can make sure that we are intentional about doing that for our husbands? In Galatians 5:22 and 23, it talks about the fruit of the spirits. It says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And it says, against such things there is no law. Now, I know we can get in our feelings and our emotions. I have come to realize, and I have just come to accept the fact that I am an emotional person. I am very sensitive. My emotions, they go up, they go down. And one day I can be so in love, and the next day I can be so agitated. But when I go back to the fruit of the spirits, and I try to incorporate into my day-to-day life, and I allow the conviction of the Holy Spirit to come in and to correct me when I'm in error, then I am able to then be that Proverbs 31 woman who is never spiteful and treats her husband generously all her life long. What does this look like for you in your life? I want to even take it a step further. Even if you are not a married woman, how is this looking like in your life? One thing that I always tell women who are single that come and they talk to me and they ask me for advice, I always say to them, the relationships that you have right now, they are preparing you for your marriage. One thing about marriage, if it's going to be lifelong, this is the rest of your life. This is the person that you will be in relationship with for the longest. And to boot, you'll always be in each other's face. You'll always be in each other's businesses. You'll always be in each other's proximity. With other relationships, eventually, like even with your children, they're going to go off and they are going to start their own lives, and eventually they won't be in your household any longer. With your siblings, the same thing. With your parents, the same thing. I have an older sister. She left the house first. So that relationship wasn't constant in terms of being in each other's faces all day long. Every single day, I should say. And then I have a younger sister, but I then had to leave. And so I wasn't in her proximity every day, nor was I in my mom and dad's proximity every day. With friendships, it's the same thing. With coworkers, it's the same thing. With our church family, whatever clubs or anything else that you are a part of, it's the same thing. You are not in close proximity with them every single day. But your spouse, you are. And so with that, you have to be very intentional about allowing the fruit of the Spirit to be your guide in your life, and allowing those relationships as you are a single woman to help shape you and mold you. Because one thing I've come to find is that each of my relationships, they are preparing me for something concerning my marriage. And so I want to admonish you women out there today. Allow God to lead you and guide you so that you can become that Proverbs 31 woman. Don't expect perfection, but expect a continual process of working towards being someone that is full of love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave me a comment down below, giving me your thoughts. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Hit that notification bell so you know when I post another video. God bless you and take care. Bye.